Hey there, fellow Americans. Have you checked your bank accounts lately? You might want to do that right now because something big is happening this March 2025. Reports are flooding in that the long-awaited stimulus package championed by Senator Bernie Sanders has finally been approved, with President Donald Trump signing it into law just days ago. That's right, a whopping $3,700 refund check could be hitting your bank account any day now. But what exactly is this bill? How did it manage to pass through our divided Congress, and most importantly, are you eligible? If you want to stay updated on all the latest stimulus news and financial updates that could put thousands in your pocket, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now so you don't miss any critical information that could affect your wallet. The political world was stunned last week when the Sanders-led initiative, officially called the American Economic Relief and Recovery Act, passed with surprising bipartisan support after months of heated debate in Congress. What makes this particularly noteworthy is how Sanders, a longtime advocate for working-class Americans, managed to secure backing from President Trump, who had previously opposed similar measures during his first term in office. Political analysts are calling this an unprecedented moment of cooperation in our otherwise polarized political landscape. But what changed? And why is this happening now in March 2025, just months after Trump's inauguration for his second term? According to inside sources, the economic advisors to the White House presented compelling data showing that a direct stimulus would boost consumer spending and provide immediate relief to millions of families still struggling with inflation and economic uncertainty. The legislation aims to address the persistent economic challenges facing middle and working-class Americans who have been disproportionately affected by the economic fluctuations of the past few years. This is not about politics, Sanders stated during the final vote. This is about providing real, tangible support to Americans who continue to struggle despite working harder than ever. Have you noticed how prices have continued to rise while wages have remained stagnant? This bill directly targets that gap. The stimulus package includes direct payments of $3,700 to individuals making less than $75,000 annually and married couples making less than $150,000 combined. Those with incomes above these thresholds will receive reduced payments, with eligibility phasing out completely for individuals earning over $100,000 and couples earning over $200,000. Unlike previous stimulus measures, this bill also extends eligibility to dependent college students and adult dependents, addressing a criticism of past relief efforts. Do you fall into any of these categories? If so, you may want to verify your banking information with the IRS immediately to ensure your payment arrives without delay. What's particularly interesting about this stimulus package is the funding mechanism. Rather than adding to the national debt, the legislation includes revenue-generating provisions through a temporary tax adjustment on corporations with annual profits exceeding $1 billion and individuals with net worths over $50 million. This approach, often referred to as a wealth tax light, helps secure votes from fiscal conservatives who had previously opposed stimulus measures due to deficit concerns. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen estimates these provisions will fully fund the stimulus while potentially generating additional revenue for infrastructure projects. But how will this affect the economy in the long run? Some economists predict this could trigger significant economic growth, while others express concern about potential market reactions. Implementation of the stimulus program has already begun, with the first wave of direct deposits scheduled to arrive in bank accounts starting this week. Paper checks will follow for those without direct deposit information on file with the IRS, with the full distribution expected to be completed by the end of April 2025. The Treasury Department has launched a specialized website where Americans can check their payment status and update their banking information if necessary. Have you received any communication from the IRS yet regarding your stimulus payment? If not, don't worry, the rollout is happening in phases based on income levels and filing status. President Trump, speaking from the White House after signing the bill, emphasized the economic benefits. This money will flow directly into our economy, creating jobs and helping businesses recover. It's a beautiful thing when government actually works for the people. This statement marks a significant shift in Trump's economic approach compared to his previous term, where he focused primarily on tax cuts and deregulation rather than direct payments. The question many are asking is, does this signal a broader shift in economic policy for the remainder of his second term? Or is this a one-time collaboration born of specific economic circumstances? Senator Sanders, who has championed economic relief for working Americans throughout his career, called the passage a significant step forward but emphasized that more work remains to be done to address systemic economic inequality. "This is not the end of our fight for economic justice," Sanders stated. "But it demonstrates what's possible when we focus on the needs of ordinary Americans rather than special interests." The unlikely alliance between Sanders and Trump has left many political commentators speculating about the potential for other bipartisan initiatives in the coming months. Could this represent a new chapter in American politics where ideological differences take a backseat to pragmatic solutions? For many Americans, the timing of this stimulus couldn't be better. With inflation still affecting everyday expenses and many households carrying increased debt loads from the economic challenges of recent years, the $3,700 payment represents meaningful relief. Early surveys indicate that most recipients plan to use the funds to pay down debt, cover essential expenses, or build emergency savings. A smaller percentage report plans to invest the money or make previously delayed purchases. How will you use your stimulus payment? Will it go toward necessities, debt reduction, or perhaps that home renovation project you've been putting off? Financial advisors are recommending that Americans carefully consider how to maximize the impact of their stimulus funds. "This is an opportunity to strengthen your financial foundation," explains financial planner Maria Rodriguez. "Consider paying down high-interest debt first, then building your emergency fund if it's depleted. Only after addressing these priorities should you consider discretionary spending." Some economists are predicting a noticeable boost to consumer spending in the second quarter of 2025 as these payments circulate through the economy. Do you have a plan for how to use your stimulus funds effectively? Critics of the bill, though fewer than expected, have raised concerns about potential inflationary impacts and the precedent set by direct government payments. Some conservative lawmakers who voted against the measure argue that economic recovery should come through private sector growth and tax incentives rather than government distributions. However, the majority of economic analysts predict that the targeted nature of this stimulus, combined with its revenue-generating provisions, should minimize negative economic side effects while maximizing benefits to those most in need. Is it possible that this approach to economic stimulus represents a new model for addressing economic challenges in the future? As the first payments begin hitting bank accounts, the immediate impact on individual families is already becoming apparent. Social media is filled with stories of Americans using their stimulus funds to catch up on rent, pay medical bills, or finally address car repairs that had been postponed due to financial constraints. These personal accounts highlight the real-world impact of policy decisions and reinforce the importance of government responsiveness to economic hardship. Have you or someone you know been waiting for this kind of financial relief? The stories emerging suggest that for many, this stimulus represents not just financial help but restored dignity and reduced stress. Remember, to stay updated on all developments related to this stimulus package and future economic relief measures, subscribe to our channel now and hit that notification bell. We'll continue bringing you the latest information about payment timelines, eligibility clarifications, and expert advice on maximizing your stimulus funds. Don't miss our upcoming videos on smart ways to use your $3,700 check and potential tax implications you should be aware of. Your financial future matters, and staying informed is the first step toward security in these uncertain economic times.